is going to put out something special. I have been thinking for the longest time about doing like a second show. And, keep the main show, then keep the Yari show, but like do something else on the side, which is like more so about non-wrestling topics.
Sounds good, yeah.
Just talking about, I guess, just, regular shit, maybe movies, TV shows, whatever. And this wouldn't be a weekly thing. This would be like every other week.
Okay.
So like, with the regular show, which is just a wrestling show mainly, I can use this show to talk about other topics, and it wouldn't have like a set day or a set time, and it wouldn't be live in front of, or not live in front of a studio audience, but it wouldn't be live in front of Discord or whatever. It would just be just pre-recorded. Because I'm trying to get Trez back on the show for the longest time, but her schedule is so crazy, and she suggested if I come back, whenever I do come back on the show, I want to just pre-record because my schedule is just so insane. I was like, oh, cool. So I guess this would be like the first official show of whatever the hell this show is.
Like the sound of that, yeah.
I mean, call it, I guess, Extra Yari. You can call it that.
Yeah. So, that's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the first official show of Extra Yari. I have Ruben Prime from RubenPrimeTV, the podcast.
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, these particular shows would be maybe like 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
Yeah, that like 30, around the 30-minute mark, it sounds good. 45 minutes, yeah. So, that's pretty dope.
So, you were talking about Resident Evil 6, I believe. And
yes, I was.
So, I told you you were cutting out a lot in the show, and whenever you got to the Resident Evil part, you were like very much cutting out, and that's not your fault. It's pretty much Discord in general. Yeah. But what was your main issue with Resident Evil 6?
Okay, so my main issue with Resident Evil 6 is that I like the game, but I understood why people didn't like it. And the reason why it is because it didn't follow the same tropes as a traditional Resident Evil game with the management of items, the survival horror aspect. It was more, there was a segment in the story where you can play as two characters from Chris. I don't know if you know Chris Redfield and his partner, and it was more like Call of Duty style. It was more like run and gun. So there was a lot more of that in the overall game. There was too much action. There wasn't a lot of survival horror aspects. Even though there were a good amount of scary moments, jaw-dropping moments, it was primarily an action game. So people that were true, like old school Resident Evil, fans, they didn't like the game because it was too action heavy, too action based. Versus the past Resident Evil games, they were, they had those tropes from a general survival horror game. The game, what made Resident Evil, the past Resident Evil games, Resident Evil wasn't in Resident Evil 6. It was a lot of, action heavy. So it was very polarizing. And again, I understood why. I was like, why don't people like it? I was like, oh, okay, you played 4, you play Resident Evil 4, you play Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 2, first Resident Evil 0. And you saw all those games, how they differ. But as Resident Evil 4 and 5 went along, the survival horror element went out the wayside. It was more of an action-based game. So was just around that time people were pissed. It was like, oh my god, blah blah. I was like, I just want to play the game. Like screw it. Like I had fun. If if I'm if I'm enjoying the game, it's all good. But I can understand why people don't like it because it didn't follow traditional Resident Evil survival horror tropes.
Yeah, I'm forgetting which one 6 was though.
Oh,
I believe you know what? I think I just watched a walkthrough on it.
okay.
Part 6, but I'm forgetting the storyline though.
Basically, there's an outbreak. There's a global outbreak in the world, in the Resident Evil universe, and it's with the C virus. It's with the C virus, and they have so many characters. They have Leon Kennedy with his partner, Chris Redfield, Ada Wong,
Mm-hmm.
and Sherry Birkin, and Albert Wesker's son as well. Then they're all in there, and they're playable, and they go by campaign A, B. Like you got to play one campaign, you got to play as Leon Kennedy. The other one you play as Chris Redfield. The other one you play as Wesker's son. And then there's a fourth one with Ada Wong that has the puzzle elements of Resident Evil, but it fell. So it was just 4 different campaigns. It was at the time that was incredible because with these games, a lot of these games, it's like it's just one campaign or maybe 2 campaigns. So the fact that these campaigns intertwine with each other, it was a really big deal. And to see all those characters that we followed since the other games on paper seemed cool, but then when it was executed, it was just too much going on. Unfortunately, I liked it. Like me and my best friend, we liked the game and we understand why it wasn't well received. But if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's that polarizing.
I think the one thing that always threw me off about Resident Evil was, they were doing this in the movies and they're doing this with the games too, where it started off as a horror movie and a horror game, but
yes.
For whatever reason they decided to turn it into just a straight up action thing. And
yes.
I don't know, like action movies and zombies, I don't think they mix. Zombies are just primarily, in my opinion, I don't want any zombie enthusiasts hating on me because of how I think zombies should be, but it just always threw me off. It's like, we're going to make this into an action movie. It's like, why? Like, I don't... How many Resident Evil movies were there? I think, 6 or 7?
6. Oh, my God. And they're different. They're in a different universe. Like, they don't follow the game, the in-game canon, as they call it. So it's a completely different universe, but they use a lot of the same characters from the Resident Evil video games.
Yeah, the movies were just... I saw the first one. The first one was passable. The second one was okay. And when they went to Las Vegas, I think I just tapped out after that.
Yeah, the first one, the first one was pretty cool, but again, it didn't follow a lot of and it wasn't supposed to. That was the goal, because with Capcom they have the rights to the Resident Evil franchise, so they couldn't go blow by blow. But I don't know, the first few were okay, and then it just got really hokey, and Alice was always somewhere abandoned, far away from her friends and her her teammates, and she was always naked. Always, they just had a fascination with forgot her name, but the actress that played Alice. They had a
Mila
Mia, Yeah, they always had a fascination with her, like, naked in post-apocalyptic setting. Like, always. I'm like, damn, they love seeing her naked. Well, to be fair, I think the producer of the something Anderson, I think he I think they're married.
Hmm.
Yeah, so probably has some weird fetish. Has some weird fetish going. I don't know, but it's just kind of weird. Um,
Yeah, they're. I don't know if you heard this. They're doing a Resident Evil TV show on Netflix.
yes, I've heard. I'm intrigued. Considering there's going to be Wesker's going to have offspring, which is kind of cool. Like I mentioned earlier, like Wesker in the video games, that Wesker did have uh, that had a son, and also Wesker has another like sister in the game, but it was in the lesser, not lesser known, but it was in the low profile Resident Evil games, and there's that story hasn't concluded, so there's still like room for that story to for the future Resident Evil games, because of course there's going to be a Resident Evil 8, so they can incorporate that in the next Resident Evil game.
Do you think video games like a Resident Evil benefit more having having a TV show? And keep talking. I'm just gonna go check something outside.
Okay, yeah, I think Resident Evil can benefit from a TV show, because like not everything can translate well in movies. It's just like as we see with the Resident Evil movies over, on the big screen. So I think if it's in and there's also animated Resident Evil movies that follow, for the most part, the video game canon. So I feel like if they can go the animated route, they can do that. But if they were to go the live action route, I think they can do that as well, but on a smaller screen, on a smaller scale, because um, to not everything has to be on the big screen. Like you can do a series on a Netflix or Amazon Video. I do feel like you can tell a good enough story on a streaming platform, in my opinion. But in the other hand, you just got to be careful. You do got to be careful though, because you don't want to steer too far from the source material. If it's in its own, you don't want to steer too far from the source material. If it's going to be its own separate universe from the video game universe or the video game canon. But I think that you can have something with on a Netflix, on an Amazon Video, or on TV. But I think on having it on Netflix is better, because you can get away with a lot more.
Oh
You don't
yeah,
have to worry about FCC. You don't have to worry about all that. You
yeah,
can more.
yeah. Because when you look at those movies, they really couldn't have benefited from like giving it that really hard R rating,
Yeah.
because Resident Evil is a pretty violent game.
Oh yeah.
Last of Us is a violent game, um, and those really deserve that rated R. You go on Netflix, you have a lot more creative freedom. You have more time to tell a story. You can have all the blood and guts you want. You can have all the violence you want, as opposed to these studios that go, well, we want to bring in the kiddos, so we want to go for that hard PG-13. It's like, you can't be hard PG-13 with zombies. You have to be rated R, you have to be TVMA, or just don't do it.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm intrigued as to how they could pull this off, as to how Netflix can pull off a Resident Evil series. I mean, it'd be interesting because Netflix lost Marvel, so now they can get into the video game TV show business. There's a rumor that they're apparently going to do a Legend of Zelda series, which, I mean, they're already doing the Witcher TV series. I mean, I'm not trying to compare. I mean, it's both kind of fall into the same, I guess, kind of genre. I have yet to even watch The Witcher, and all I know from it are the memes.
Yes,
of Henry Cavill, grunting and saying "fuck" and taking baths every 5 minutes. Making me feel like a fat piece of shit every time I see him. But a Legend of Zelda series would be interesting. One thing I proposed is doing a Pokemon TV series, but based off of the video games.
I can see that.
Yeah. Starting from the Kanto region, with Red.
Yeah.
And not being a live action series, making it animated. I wouldn't mind seeing a live action. That'd be interesting. Primarily based on the video games, because the reason why I say the video games is because whenever you play those, the old school Pokemon, video games like Red, Yellow, Blue, the content in it is very dark, really dark. For example, when you go to Saffron City, you're going to this tower that's filled with the souls of dead Pokemon that were killed by Team Rocket.
Oh, Lavender Town.
Lavender Town there, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Lavender Town.
Pretty good. Yeah. That is a lot of aspects of Pokemon that's very dark, including the Pokédex entries. There's so many Pokédex entries of Pokemon luring kids to their deaths, Pokemon eating other Pokemon and eating children. It's dark and
like Hypno. Hypno's a fucking pedophile.
Yes. There's a creepypasta about Hypno's Lullaby. I'm like, shit. Like when you look into things, I'm just like, oh, wow, that's pretty dark. And it's like it's in a kid's game, and there's so much, just from the Pokédex entries alone, you can have stories, like short stories, just based on the hundreds of Pokemon in these Pokédex entries. It's so crazy the amount of things that Pokemon do to people and to other Pokemon, and also Team Rocket on the stuff that they've done, and it's wild that there's so much adult content on these children's games, and I'm all for it. I'm all for a Netflix series on just the Pokédex entries.
Yeah, I actually pulled one of them up on Screen Rant. Xatu. Xatu stands rooted and still in one spot all day long. People believe that this Pokemon does so out of fear of the terrible things it is foreseen in the future.
Oof. It's creepy.
Next we have, I don't know how to say this one's name right, Eveltal. It's like a giant, some type of giant bird. When its life comes to an end, it absorbs the life energy of every living thing and turns into a cocoon once more.
Wow.
There's about 18 more of these, so I guess we'll go through. No, you're not getting on here. My cat. We'll go through 18 more of these. Frostlass. The soul of a woman lost on a snowy mountain possessed an icicle. Becoming this Pokemon, the food it most relishes is the souls of men.
Dark.
Sliggoo. It has trouble drawing a line between friends and food. It will calmly try to melt and eat even those it will get along with. I remember this one, Mimikyu. It's that Pikachu looking one, but it's kind of like
Oh man, that's dark. That Pokemon is very, very dark.
Its actual appearance is unknown. A scholar who saw what was under its rag was overwhelmed by terror and died from the shock.
Yep. in a kid's game.
Dusclops. Dusclops' body is completely hollow. There is nothing at all inside. It is said that its body is like a black hole. This Pokemon will absorb anything into its body, but nothing will ever come back out. Gorbis. Although Gorbis is the very picture of elegance and beauty while swimming, it is also very cruel. When it spots its prey, this Pokemon inserts its thin mouth into the prey's body and drains the prey of its bodily fluids. Yeesh.
Vampire.
Cacturn. If a traveler is going through a desert in the thick of night, Cacturn will follow in a ragtag group. The Pokemon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire and become incapable of moving.
Mm.
It's like, Jesus. Should I just finish the next 12 of these? I might as well.
Yeah. I'm like getting flashbacks because some of these because I've been playing Pokemon Sword, just getting back into Pokemon, so just like hearing these are like, you know.
After this we'll talk about Sword and Shield. Litwick, which is like a tiny candle. While shining a light and pretending to be a guide, it leeches off the life force of any who follow it. Yamask. Each of them each of them carries a mask that used to be the face when it was a human. Sometimes they look at it and cry. That's just depressing.
Yeah.
Gourgeist, which is like a pumpkin type looking thing. It enwraps its prey in its hair-like arms. It sings joyfully as it observes the suffering of its prey. Parasect, I remember that. The bug host is drained of energy by the mushrooms on its back. They appear to do all the thinking.
That's Generation 1, by the way.
Yeah, the creepy one.
Yeah.
the darkest version. Beware, the Pokemon has the habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines are crushed by its hug. Oh my god.
Yes.
And it's a cute little bear.
Yes, cute little bear, but can kill you.
Here comes the creepiest fucker of them all, Gengar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It apparently wishes for a traveling companion. Since it once was human itself, it tries to create one by taking the lives of other humans. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, and it also
is like the shadow of Jigglypuff or something.
Clefable. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I got it mixed up.
Yeah.
That's again very dark. Kadabra. A theory exists that this Pokemon was a young boy who could control psychic powers and ended up transformed into this Pokemon. I wouldn't say that's dark.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of dark, but it's not like, oh my god, that's really dark. Drowsy. If your nose becomes itchy while you are sleeping, it is a sure sign that one of these Pokemon is standing above your pillow and trying to eat your dream through its nostrils. That just gives me anxiety. Just thinking about that. Phantump, which kind of looks like a ghost cactus. According to old tales, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died while lost in the forest. Which are all these dead children? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's well, mind you, in Pokemon, when you turn 10 years old, you get to go out on a Pokemon journey. Like at 10 years old.
Like when supposedly, there's the creepypasta theory that Ash is he's still in a coma.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite creepypastas of from Pokemon, because it's plausible. Like, it's like, oh man, like there's some people, especially close friends of mine, they're like, oh, like this is too. It's like they're thinking, they're doing too much. It's like, but I'm like, listen, it's plausible. It makes sense. Like, it's everything that we're watching could be just a figment of Ash's imagination. He could just be dreaming this, and it's just
How fucked up would that be if that's how the show ends? You find out that Ash has been in a coma this whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of like that could have been the Walking Dead one of the theories, but that was disproved when they had Rick Grimes, old man Rick Grimes, um, you know, walking in Alexandria, but that wasn't far fetched. Like before that, I was like, I wouldn't be upset about it if that was the case because it's stranger things have happened, especially in anime. Like, remember, Pokemon is an anime, so and there's actually banned episodes. There's one with Polygon that it gave children in Japan
Oh yeah,
seizures,
I remember that
so they
one.
had to
Yeah.
ban it. Yeah, I was like, like that. I wish I can see that episode, but
I'm not. I'm
it's
not. I'm
kind
not sure. I'm not sure if you want to see that episode, Ruben.
of I don't know
I
the
remember
more
when they
vivid.
made fun. I remember when they made fun of the Simpsons when they go to Japan, and then
Yeah,
Bart goes, hey, "Isn't this that cartoon that gives you seizures?" And everybody just starts having
yeah.
seizures. And then they go, "Now back to Japanese seizure fighting robots," and everybody just starts having a seizure. Let's
Oh,
let's go back to the list. There's three more. Um,
God.
Bayonet.
Oh,
Bayonet,
Bane, yeah,
a doll that becomes a Pokemon over its grudge from being junked. It seeks the child that disowned it. Oof.
yeah. Pretty much.
Palo Sand. Buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality it has drained. So it's literally a haunted sandcastle.
Yeah, damn, it's last generation's I believe, yeah, it's last generation's Pokemon because
Hmm.
Moon, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon takes place in like, it's basically Hawaii's, it's
Hmm.
the Hawaiian Islands. Yeah, so yeah, I ironically bought the game on the Virtual Console, and I didn't finish it. Like, it's still, I'm terrible.
I,
I'm
st-
terrible.
I think I bought both Sun and Moon, and I still have Sun in my 3DS. I still have a 3DS. I still play it from time to time. But number one of creepiest Pokemon, Drifloon.
Mm,
Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children.
yes.
So if you're fat, then you'll be fine. But if you're not fat, you might die.
Yes.
So let's close this this short show up by talking about Sword and Shield. Did you get the sense that that was probably the easiest Pokemon game you ever played?
Yes.
It was like unbearably easy. Like it seemed like the game was almost like carrying you by the hand and
Oh
helping
yeah.
you out with everything.
Yes. That is like, I thought I thought I was the only one. Well, friends of mine, like, we said, wait a minute, like, this is like a bit too easy because in other Pokemon games, especially there's always a part in the middle of the game and the ending where you have a lot of challenges, especially going through the caves, going through these mazes, and when you traverse to the Pokemon League, when you have to go through Victory Road, or there's a challenge before you get into the Pokemon League, and I'm just like, this is easy. Like, playing this game is pretty easy. The only thing that was a bit of trouble is when you go into certain areas of wild area and your Pokemon weren't trained up to a certain level, and you basically got to run from Pokemon that spawn in the game, and they chase after you, and a lot of times it will be really high level, and you couldn't, your current Pokemon couldn't defeat it. So that was like the only thing that was challenging. But you just run away. If you don't slip and go into the grass, you're good. But besides that, the game was pretty was pretty easy. It was like a hold your hand edition.
Yeah, especially when they decided to add whatchamacallit, XP share
Yes.
for literally everybody. I mean that's good, but I don't know if you have emulators on your phone or if you like have emulators of like Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance or whatever. But
I used to,
yeah, I have them on my phone every now and then. I'll go back and play like Yellow or Crystal, and I just remember how like it's easy for us now because we played it like 8 million times, but compare it to how easy the games are now, it's still kind of difficult because you still have to train your guys. You have to constantly like battle Pokemon in the grass to get your guys level up. There's none of this. Hey, use Versus Seeker so you can face another opponent again.
Yes.
You there's that, or using cheat codes.
Actually
like,
play.
like for us who grew up playing the games, we staying up late at night and having to like make sure you have your Game Boy Color and some source of light.
Oh yeah.
Or to have that light for your Game Boy Color to play it at night when you're supposed to be in bed.
Yes.
Those were challenges, and to make sure your batteries weren't going to run out as soon as you like beat a gym leader. Like those were our challenges playing these games. I think they made these games too easy for I guess this generation.
Yes.
And I don't want us to come off as old man yells at cloud. But, it's these games are too easy. I mean, it's a fun game. They're still fun. I'm gonna play them regardless of how many they put out. But it's just it's unbearably easy. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, it's I feel like they're too easy. Like that's with a lot of games, not just games like Pokemon and Mario and things like that, but even the fighting game genre. There's a lot of these games that just have built-in mechanics that can just essentially they have comeback mechanics and essentially help you win when you're about to lose and you're just just do these combination of button presses or use this feature and you can just come back. And there's a certain level of skill to play these type of video games, these fighting games, but that's taken away now because all you got to do is just do the same combo, press the same buttons a few times, and you win. And it takes the strategy, it takes it just takes that competitiveness out of the game because it's just anyone can play these games. And speaking of Japan, the reason why a lot of these games now, so fighting games are like easier is because we Americans sucked. We sucked at playing, especially for Street Fighter. We always lose to to the foreigners, to Japanese, Koreans, especially the Koreans. They you see them play Overwatch and all these games. They will tear through all these other games, and these companies, they essentially made these games easier and come out at the same time, so that way no one has an advantage. Like a lot of games will come out before in Japan and in Asian countries first, and then we'll get them like a few months down the line. So they will always have a competitive edge when it comes to these games. Now there's no more of that. It's just everyone gets the game at the same time, global release, and they dumb down the mechanics. They make it easy. They put a hold your hand feature. Is have you play the game like just 2 button presses and you beat the game. And it sucks now because now games they're not competitive. It's like all you got to do is just press these few buttons and the game will hold your hand for you. These comeback mechanics, simple command inputs, it's everything is pretty easy now, and I hate that about gaming now.
I mean, I guess that's just the world we live in now. They have to dumb down everything for everyone. I mean, because I guess to close this out, because I like the game Destiny. Destiny is one of my favorite games, but it's unbearably easy too because it's easy, and it's also predictable because I don't know if you played Destiny before.
Play a little bit of it.
It seems like almost every scene is, I have to fix this. So battle off these 5 waves of enemies. It just seems like every single scene is your ghost bot saying that. And again, I love Destiny, but it's a very predictable game. And I don't know. Again, we're not saying Sword and Shield were bad, but it was just way too easy.
Yeah, it wasn't challenged. It wasn't as challenging as the previous games.
Like where's the challenge? Like I literally finished the game and I haven't even picked it up. I haven't picked it up since. Like that's. But anyways, man, appreciate you for being on this first edition of I guess Extra Yari or Yari Extra, whatever you want to call it.
I guess Yari Extra could be. It rolls off the tongue better.
All right, sounds like a plan. So yeah,
Awesome.
Ruben Christen did Yari Extra. There you go. I will pay
Awesome.
him. I will pay him his royalties. All right, man. You ever want to come back on? Just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Oh, for sure. Any time I'll be on. You know where to reach me.
Well, I mean, we have our phone numbers on our phone, so.
Yes.
You already know how to get a hold of me. I know how to get a hold of you. So, all right, man. I gotta head out in a bit. But take care, brother.
Take care, man.
All right.
Alrighty.
Take care, bud. All right. Well, that was the first edition of, like Ruben said, Yari Extra. Like I said, these shows would just be every other week. They're going to be every week. There's really no set time or date as to when this would come out. Yeah, these would just be like really short shows, under an hour. Ruben wrote me, thanks for having me. Aw. Why does this cat insist on wanting to cross over? Alright. But yeah, this will be just every other week. It's really short shows, under an hour, 45 minutes. I would try to make it 45 minutes tops. I don't like to really make these long shows. I mean, the main show is long because, there's a lot of shit going on in wrestling. And so, but yeah, Yari Extra, that's the official name. I will have this posted by tomorrow over the weekend. More than likely tomorrow, and I'll have the main show posted by the end of tonight. Or tomorrow. So, we'll see. But take care, guys.